I believe the world is made of good ideas and bad ideas. I know we can all look into our own personal lives and find a time where we chose to run with a good idea and love the outcome. And of course, the other times when we chose a bad idea and didn't really care for the consequences that came with it. If you said you had a purpose in your life, I would say that's a good idea. But if you said, I don't know what my purpose in life is, we might associate that with a bad idea. You know what's a really great idea? Freedom. Think about that for a second. Take our forefathers, for example. They had a purpose, and they came to this country. They came to a free world to get away from tyrants, to get away from evil, to get away from financial constraints, religious constraints, being told how and what to think instead of being told why. To get away from kings, queens, and popes that said they can't practice their light, hence the dark ages that they ran away from. To get on a boat, a wooden-ass boat with a piece of cloth above their head to sail across an ocean that I've sailed many times in my life, knowing how sick and how miserable it made me on an aircraft carrier. I can't imagine what they went through back then. I can't imagine what kind of people they were and became when they realized that at the end of that trip to where they didn't know where they were going, they were different people by the end of that trip. Half of their families may have been dead. Why? Because they were desperate? I think it's because they had a purpose. And that's something that we can never forget. Because in history, we know that the next organic evolutionary step that comes with losing that purpose is losing those freedoms that we all enjoy. Don't forget that purpose creates freedom. And America can never quit that. We can never quit that mentality. We can never quit acting that out. More importantly, we have to share with ourselves, our children, our friends, our community, our neighbors, our statesmen, our countrymen, our entire world, even foe alike. We have to let them know that we are heirs to an American revolution, a revolution that used to mean something in this world. A thing that we fought for because we believed in the purpose that created the freedom that it gave us. A heritage that has been tempered and hardened and sharpened into this precise blade of Americans that we are today. We have to remember that the people of this nation have always been committed to that. Just like President John F. Kennedy said, let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we will pay any price, we will bear any burden, we will meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe in the survival and pursuit of liberty in this great nation. And then he says one more thing after that. This we must pledge. Does that mean the Pledge of Allegiance? Well, I think that's a pretty good idea, and I'm on board with that. And I'll pledge allegiance to that idea because I know the good outcomes that come from it. I know the good outcomes that comes from that purpose. I know the good outcomes that comes from that purpose is freedom. And if for some reason you think that's a bad idea, well, then I must bid you farewell, because unfortunately you've forgotten the very basic principles that it means to be an American. And I hope you find that. On this Independence Day, I ask you to reflect. Reflect on our forefathers' principles. And as you reflect on them, reflect on yours. And hopefully as you reflect on yours, you'll find more purpose. And as you find more purpose, you'll start to realize that our freedoms shall always remain. And something that I've never forgotten, and I'll leave you with this. It's a republic. Only if you can keep it.